someone whose journey reflects the values of perseverance, determination, and lifelong learning. We are confident that Mrs. Cox's words of wisdom and encouragement will inspire, motivate, and challenge our graduates as they pen the next chapter of their lives. Please join me in giving a warm and enthusiastic welcome to our guest speaker, Mrs. Shulet Cox.
Thank you very much for that, Ms. Douglas. Good evening, everybody. I want to start by recognizing the Honorable Bobby Montague, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, Mr. Omar Newell, or MP for Central St. Mary. We also have with us the Custos Rollatorium of St. Mary, Brigadier Errol Johnson, who is also my former principal, and Mr. Maurice Guy, former MP for Central St. Mary, and my former chairman of the board when I was at St. Mary High. Special recognition to the chairman of the board, the current chairman, Mr. Derek Thompson, and other members of the board, acting principal Major Christine Wright, vice principals Nicholas Taylor and Michelle D. Grant. A special welcome to distinguished teachers and staff, parents, guardians, fellow alumni, but most importantly, the graduating class of St. Mary High School 2026. How are you feeling? You know, somebody take a make puppy show, not true. But you know, when we started earlier, and we went through a couple of the items, and I said to Omar beside me, I'm like, this crowd don't feel like a St. Mary crowd. And then I heard the welcome. And I'm like, yeah, now I feel like I'm at St. Mary High School. And it is an inestimable honor and privilege to stand before you today, not only as your guest speaker, but as someone who has once walked these grounds, sat in the same classrooms, learned life lessons in the same space, and dreamed about a future much like you're doing right now. My version of 11.5, that was the class I was in, was actually in this space over here. We didn't have all the fancy classrooms that we needed at the time, but as we do at St. Mary High, we make sure that whatever we have, we make the best of it. So we had 11.5 over this side, and we had 11.6 over this side. And we would pray for rain, because anytime the teacher can't come to class, but that's a whole other story. As I return to St. Mary High School today, not as a student, but as a proud daughter of this institution, I can say without hesitation that no matter where my life has taken me, no matter the opportunities I have had or the responsibilities I now carry, a part of me will always have deep gratitude to this school and the role that it played in shaping me into who I am today. But that is only a part of why being at this podium is so special. A bigger part of why today is special is that I get to join the graduating class of 2026 in your day of celebration. Because today, my dear graduates, we celebrate you, your accomplishments, your resilience, your growth, and importantly, your potential. Accomplishments not just in classrooms, but in the classrooms of life. Resilience. I think Minister Montague spoke about that resilience, because your generation went through it. You really went through it. You are the last year of primary school and first year of lockdowns. Lost educational hours between the hurricanes and COVID. But growth, because the fact that you are here means that you have persevered. And importantly, potential, because today marks a day of transition into your future. the end of one significant chapter of your life and the beginning of another. And so it is fitting that the theme of today's graduation is looking back with pride, moving forward with purpose. Because for each and every one of you, both are very important to the person that you will become. The fact of the matter is, in order to move forward confidently and with purpose, we must first look back with pride on where we have come from. We cannot be ashamed of our past experiences or circumstances, and we should never try to shun them, because they are the foundations of a life filled with purpose. And so today I want to share a few reflections on what it means to look back with pride and move forward with purpose. The first thing I want to ask our graduates to do is pause for a moment and think about your high school journey. Think about your first day at St. Mary High School, whether it was online or physically. Entering the grounds of this school, walking into C Block, and I really hope C Block is still where Grayson is. Being in a new place and seeing all sorts of new people. Some of you were excited, but I'm sure some of you were also nervous. In those first few months, you not only entered a new institution or a new environment, but you met new teachers, formed new friendships, joined clubs, and began a journey that undoubtedly shaped you into who you are today. And I'm sure that if you really think about it, you recognize that you are nothing like you were on that first day of school. Since then, you have experienced some wins, an A or B here and there, that paper that you thought you failed, but you actually made a grade, becoming a prefect or president or executive of a student club, and for the cadets among you, winning that Royal Vast trophy a few times. But you also had some setbacks. That B or F in an exam that you didn't want, not getting gold on that festival stage, losing a friendship you thought you had made for life, or just enduring challenges people didn't even know you were going through. If you can relate to both sets of experiences during your journey at St. Mary High, it means that you have learned both academic and life lessons, inside and outside the classroom. And through it all, you have grown, and a better version of yourself has evolved, a version that we are all here gathered to recognize and to celebrate. So often in the rat race of life, we become focused on going after the next, that we forget to stop and not only reflect on lessons learned, but celebrate how far we have come. And so as you sit here today and receive your certificates and diplomas, be proud of the efforts you invested in studying, in doing the assignments, in taking the exams. Be proud of the fact that you never gave up. You never walked away, you never ditched classes, you never decided that it was just not worth your time. Be proud of the challenges that you pushed through, coming out a little bit scarred, but much better equipped. And most importantly, be proud of the person you have become. I also want to take the time to recognize the community that got you here today and encourage you as graduates to always remember that none of us succeeds alone. Behind each of you as a graduate sitting here today is a network of people who contributed to this moment. With us today, we have parents and guardians who have sacrificed and supported, families that encouraged, motivated, and pushed you to stay focused on school and on your goals, and not to get distracted by every temptation outside of this institution. And you all know the temptations that I'm talking about. We also have our friends that have stood beside you throughout everything, jumped with joy at your wins, and you could see them as the different persons have come up here, giving their speech, singing, doing their part. You saw the friends that jumped with you at your wins, but also friends that hold your hand when you need strength, that hugged you when you needed to cry, or laughed at you when you were just being silly. I can proudly say that some of my best friends today, 30 years later, are my friends from St. Mary High School. They are friends that I talk to every single day. And so you might have a friend today that 30 years from now is still celebrating with you. And then there are the teachers. When I reflect on my own journey, I can identify teachers who saw potential in me long before I recognized it in myself. Teachers who challenged me, who encouraged me, and who held me accountable. Teachers who refused to let me settle for less than my best. I remember when I was in fourth form, our deputy principal at the time was Gloria Lacko, and she was my history teacher. Long before SBAs were a thing for every single subject, you had to do the SBAs for history. And my very first SBA, I had a really bad grade. And Mrs. Lacko called me to her desk. She gave me a strong talking to. She gave me back my paper and gave me 2 days to bring back a better paper. That's the kind of belief in you that I'm talking about. And so I think I can take the liberty of saying to the teachers of St. Mary High School that on behalf of the graduating class, we thank you. The graduates sitting before you today are living proof that your work matters and that the investment of your time and effort truly has made an impact. And so as we celebrate the graduates with us today, we also celebrate their villages, because their success in many ways is your success as well. And so graduates, as you look back at your time at St. Mary High, be extremely proud of what you have accomplished, giving no regard to what those around you have done or whether they have done more or less, because everybody's journey to this place and beyond is truly unique. I can tell you that I went to school with some kids that wasted time. And you swear to God, oh gosh, we're going to hear about them within 5 years. And not in a good way. And one of them in particular I can think about is now a PhD professor at a university overseas. So don't ever think that because you are not doing as well as others, or that you are doing better than others academically, that 10, 20, 30 years from now, that situation won't change. Be proud of your own achievements. Take pride in your own personal growth and appreciate the journey that you are on. But let that pride fuel gratitude and not entitlement. And let it inspire humility rather than complacency to settle for what you've achieved so far, or a belief that your journeys are anyway complete. Because graduation is not the end of anything, but rather the beginning of a new phase of growth. And even while we recognize that today is a celebration of your journey and your past, it is also an acknowledgement of the future and the potential that lies before you. A future that invites you to be deliberate, to be intentional, and to be purpose-filled about what comes next in your lives. Because purpose gives you direction, it gives you focus, it gives you the strength to persevere when things look dire and all you want to do is stop and give up. Many people spend their lives chasing success without first defining purpose, without understanding what success looks like for them. A lot of us believe that success means a big house, a nice car, a high-paying job, a handsome husband, or a gorgeous wife. But if you think about it with me. What is a nice house without any friends that you can invite over? What is a fancy car with nowhere to go and no one to go there with you? What is a high-paying job if you go on vacation by yourself and sit in a restaurant by yourself? And what is a gorgeous wife or husband that doesn't really love you? The fact is that as you move into this next phase of your life, many people will try to define what success is for you. Some would say success is wealth, some will say status, some will say possession. But I encourage you to develop your own definition. And I encourage you to make sure that success is not defined by what you achieve, but rather by the person you become. Being able to look in the mirror and know that your actions align with your values. Having the courage to do the right thing when the wrong thing seems easier. Using your gifts to not just make your life better, but to improve the lives of others. Let your version of success be the act of building a life that reflects your purpose, whatever that purpose may be. Never allow society's expectations of you to drown out your own sense of purpose. A lot of people have over the years said to me, Shilette, why you don't go in private sector? You could get this big job in private sector. But I know the way I was raised, my purpose is to serve the country of Jamaica. And so the question before each of you is simple. What kind of life do you want? What impact do you want to have on this world, on Jamaica, on your children, and on your communities? What is the legacy you want to leave behind? And so as you move forward, as you pursue success, I encourage you to pursue achievement. Get the house, get the car, get the job, get the spouse, but do not stop there. Go further and seek opportunities not to merely succeed, but opportunities that will allow you to make a difference. And as you chart this new path, I want to leave 3 things with you. Embrace lifelong learning. The world is changing rapidly. When I was sitting where you were, there was no such thing as social media. We barely knew what an email address was. Technology is transforming industries while AI is reshaping the workplace. New opportunities are emerging every single day. And the careers that many of you thought you wanted 10 years ago will not exist 10 years from now. Some of them might not even exist today. In this environment, your greatest advantage will be your willingness to continue learning. And I don't mean necessarily learning in the classroom, but learning in life. Education is not something that happens in a specific time and place, but rather it is a long process throughout your life. The sooner you accept that, the more you will be open to the world of opportunities that will always allow you to be in growth. The second thing I want to say is do not fear failure. You will make mistakes. You will experience setbacks. You will encounter disappointment. You will fail. And it will be okay because failing means that you tried. So accept it for what it is and lesson on how not to do whatever it is you failed at. And always remember that it's a natural part of life. And if we agree that it's a natural part of life, then the fear of failure makes no sense. You don't fear walking or eating. Walking and eating are a natural part of life. So there's no need to fear failure. And then if you don't fear failure, there is no need to stop yourself from taking chances because you're afraid that you're going to fail in the outcome. Too many of us allow fear of failure to prevent us from pursuing our goals, from pursuing our purpose, from chasing our dreams, or from becoming the person we are truly meant to be. Every successful person you admire, every successful person here on the platform has experienced rejection, and every accomplished leader has made mistakes. I can tell you a story. I stand here as the president of Janko, but somewhere in my mother's house down in Lindale, there is a rejection letter from Janko because I applied to a job fresh out of university, and I got a letter that said, "Thank you for your application. We have placed your resume on file." And if I had allowed that rejection letter to daunt me, to stop me, I I surely would not be where I am today. And so instead of being daunted, learn from the experiences and allow it to make you be more prepared next time. Failure is never final unless you allow it to be so. So learn from it, grow from it, and move forward. Third thing I want to mention is never forget where you come from. As your life journey unfolds, never forget your roots. Forget the busing to get a seat on the bus, or sharing bun and cheese because they spend off your lunch money for Tuesday. Waking up early extra because you forgot to finish your homework and you know that this particular teacher not going to let it go. Allow your past experiences to keep you humble, grounded, and focused. St. Mary High School has contributed significantly to who you are today. Carry that legacy proudly. Every single soul I work with knows that I come from St. Mary and went to St. Mary. I remember just after I became president, I had a team member come to me. And she said, you know, I was talking to my mother last night and my mother said she taught you at St. Mary High. And I told her no, there was no way she taught my president at St. Mary High because my president went to Immaculate High School. I was like, lady, where you get that from? Her mother actually taught me first, second, and third form. I don't know if you remember Miss Tucker. She was an English teacher. Her daughter, who is another proud student of St. Mary High, works with me at John Crown, represents Jamaica in John Crown's office in New York. So we are all over the place and we are making an impact. And so wherever life takes you, whatever tables you sit at or podiums you end up standing at, remember that your success should never distance you from the people and places that helped shape you and get you to where you are. I'm going to ask Mr. Joneman to stop this track by my graduates so that they can listen to me. Please.
I don't want to listen no more.
One more thing before I close. I want to make a plea to you all. Your country needs you. I know some of you may already be thinking of migrating, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because we belong in a global village. But wherever life leads you, find a way to Jamaica. Find a way to give back and contribute to our continued growth and development, whether it's your school, your community, or the country as a whole. We have brilliant minds. I'm sure I heard something about perfect GPAs in this graduating class. And it's not just perfect GPAs I'm talking about. And Jamaica needs your ideas. We need your creativity and we need your leadership. And whether that's a part of the public sector, the business community, academia, or even the diaspora. The fact is that the future of our nation will be shaped by the choices your generation makes. So whatever path you choose and wherever you choose to pursue it, never underestimate your individual ability to make a difference. Always pursue excellence and ensure that you are always among the best. Top performance is not just for Usain and Shelia. But do it not for personal recognition alone. Do it because excellence creates opportunities for others. And there's likely to be a trickle-down effect to the people you will never meet, where their lives are made better or easier because of the path you charted. Ultimately, that bodes well for Jamaica land below. And so, graduates, as you leave St. Mary High School, I encourage you to carry two things with you. First, carry pride. Pride in your accomplishments, your talents, your growth, pride in yourself, and pride in your school. But also find purpose. Purpose that guides your decisions, that fuels your ambition and allows you to be your best self. When pride and purpose work together, and then you mix in a batch of faith and courage, remarkable things can happen. Because looking back with pride honors the past, always reminding you where you came from. while moving forward with purpose honors the future, guiding you towards where you belong. As you leave this institution and step into the next chapter of your lives, may your dreams be bold and ambitious. May your efforts yield results and carry meaning. May your character remain strong and resilient in the face of life. And most importantly, may your future be bright and full of opportunities. And so on behalf of generations of alumni that have gone before me and before you, I say a very big congratulations to you, the St. Mary High School class of 2026. May God bless each of you, your families, our teachers and communities, and may God bless our beloved St. Mary High School. Thank you.